Xfinity because I've been having some issues with my, who doesn't have issues with Xfinity, right? Because I've literally had issues with the Wi-Fi that they installed like a year ago when they installed like the highest like grade Wi-Fi they could, so that way I can get the strongest speed, so that way I can have pretty decent videos and stuff like that. So I've had issues with their modem, so I have used my router connected to the modem, but even then the best Wi-Fi comes from the modem that they sent themselves. So I was like, I'm done. So I called them or reached out to them. I was like, hey y'all, what kind of modem do I need to buy? Because I'm kind of sick and tired of y'all's modems keep breaking down. So I went ahead and told them, and they sent me a new one. So I got to put that on tomorrow. But yeah, I was like thinking that's why I got kicked out a few minutes ago. Hey y'all, hey Jessica. So I'm, y'all can start putting your questions in. I'm just going to chat for a second, get myself like mindset, here, but I hope y'all are having a good week. Today's what, Wednesday? Yeah. So today's Wednesday. I did a podcast this morning, not for my show. I was a guest on this podcast, that's out of the UK, but there's a lot of, like it's all about activism, and it's all about LGBTQ community and like the things that people in this community are doing, etc., proper representation, all of that. So because I'm LGBTQ, I qualified, so I was on the podcast. So it's pretty cool. He was very, very good with his questions or his line of questioning. So that's going to come out at some point. Excuse me, I don't know when, but when I find out, I will let y'all know. His last guest was Rosie O'Donnell, so that's cool. Like I was like, oh, like I'm like one week away from Rosie O'Donnell's appointment or her podcast. So that's going to be cool. So you can put in whatever questions you want to ask me, and I'll try to get to as many of you as I can. If you're going to ask me about your life, be specific, because I am, I don't know everything. So I need to know what you're asking me. And that way I can kind of address whatever it is that you need clarity on. If you want me to connect with a loved one in spirit, just let me know who you want me to connect with, and I will try to connect and get you as much information as I can from that individual also. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I think that's all like I need to say. Also, of course, I'm not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but for legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. And remember, when I communicate with spirits, it's not like they're right in front of me. They're not speaking perfect English. I can't see them. I can't hear them. It's all using my mind in a form of telepathy, where they're basically using my memories, my thoughts, and the symbols and visuals in my mind to help me understand what they're trying to say. My job is to figure it out, because I don't have you. I'm not talking to you directly. There's no way for me to validate with you, or even to dig deeper, just because I don't have anyone to bounce some of that information off of. So I'm just going to give you whatever I get, and hopefully it will make sense to you, and you'll be able to connect the dots. If you can't, just sit with it, because it might mean some things that you're just not grasping in the moment. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bounce around. I'm not going in any particular order. Shamiria Woods, do my dad have a message for me? I keep having dreams about him. Yes. So a couple of things. One is, I think he wants to tell you to be safe. So I think he wants you to actually just be safe and take precautions to make sure that you're okay. I also think he's trying to calm you down, because I think you might be finding yourself worked up or really worried or stressed out. And I think he's trying to come around just to kind of help you to calm down and to let you know he is with you and that you're not alone. Also, I think he is wanting to acknowledge a relationship or a change in a relationship. So I don't know if you've just recently gone through a change, or there's someone new in your life where you just said goodbye to somebody, but he's acknowledging some sort of a change. There also seems to be, it's funny because he's showing me a nail. So I don't know if there's an issue with one of his nails, or there was something weird with the tip of his finger, because he's acknowledging something weird. So there's a reference there. He also, he keeps making me breathe deeply. So I want to say that there was some issues with his breathing, or there was issues with the respiratory system. He's also showing me his lungs. So I'm going to say that there were probably some things going on there as well that he's wanting to acknowledge. He doesn't want anyone to feel responsible or to take blame for his condition or for his passing. He's just like, it was a time. So he just wants to validate and acknowledge that. Okay. Stephanie Jackson. When I saw your name, Stephanie Jackson, who I am for real. You know that song? Yeah. Strangest question ever. A few days ago, I had what started off as a wonderful dream turning scary. It started with me speaking to Dr. Wayne Dyer and ended with my young son being taken in a car driving recklessly. Any direction? Was this real? Dr. Dyer, thanks, Fernie. So when it comes to our dreams, we tend to have a lot of symbolism in our dreams that usually represent that usually represent aspects of our lives. I don't always take it literally unless they give it to me very literally. What I mean by that, I actually had, years ago, I had a dream. This was before my sister, like this was when she was like 14 and I was, or 13, and I was still like in my early 20s. So I think it was like 20 or 21 at the time that this happened. And my sister was raised by different family members. And so we were not raised together. And although I loved my sister, we didn't have as close a relationship back then. But so I didn't really know what was going on in her life. And the uncle that used to take care of her, he passed away, and it was just her and my aunt, his wife. And I had a dream with my uncle. I didn't care for my uncle. He's a bit of a bastard. So in the dream, he was in a deathbed, and I came to visit him, and I was sitting next to his bed, and he looked over at me and he said he needed my help. And I was like, okay. And so he turned over, and when he turned over, he had soiled himself, and he had like completely shit all over the bed. And so I was like, okay. And he says he can't do it without my help. And he needs me to help with Rini, or with my sister. So I was like, okay. So I didn't understand the significance of the dream until a week later. I get a call. We haven't talked to my sister or hadn't known anything about her from my aunt in years. And she tells us that my sister's kind of getting herself into some trouble, and that she needs help. And so at that point, I realized what the dream meant. He literally said he needed my help cleaning up his shit, because they raised her in a way where she was very spoiled. She didn't have to struggle at all, which is understandable. If you love your children, you don't want them to struggle. But they didn't teach her the value of hard work, or just really being like level-headed. And so because of that, there were struggles there for her. And so they created that situation with her because they raised her. So he literally was asking me for my help to help clean up the shit that he created, or the shit that was going on. That's the message of the dream, very literal. And then after that, I was able to get in there and help and do some stuff. So, but with this dream, Stephanie, what Dr. Wayne Dyer represents high spiritual authority, or your guides, or your higher self. And so a few days ago, I started When a Dream Turned Scary. It started with me speaking to Dr. Wayne Dyer. So you've been in dialogue, you've been having communication and building on this higher spirituality, this sense of higher connection there, and ended with my young son being taken in a car driving recklessly any direction. What I think that means is that even though you are trying really hard to work on your spirituality, to work on your sense of connection with source, etc., you have a fear that the things that you don't have complete control over are going to get fouled up by other people's intentions or actions or behaviors. So essentially, it's almost like I'm trying to create a life of purpose, a life of meaning. I'm trying to move in the direction that will be best served in my spirituality. But people in my family or people around me may basically either hijack my relationships with other people, or they may use other people as a way to kind of manipulate or just be reckless in their decision-making processes. So it has more to do with you, and then the difference with other people in your life and how they may not line up with the path that you're taking for yourself. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So I think it's more of a message from your guides and whatnot. Okay. Jessica Gonzalez, hey Fernie, do you see my husband and me overcoming some situations in our marriage? I know it can be hard at times, but what advice do you have for us? What do you see us doing over this year? So here's the thing. Sometimes having space and giving each other respectable space and allowing others to live the way they want to live is a great strategy. And this actually is what I did with my sister, because we were struggling in those first years, and I kept trying to father her and control the situation and tell her what to do. And she just got even worse, and she would rebel worse. And so at that point, I just decided I'm just going to let her live the way she chooses to live, whether there's a mistake she's going to make or not. I followed my inner guidance, and my inner guidance was saying, let her be who she chooses to be and learn through the process that is best served. So I just let her be, however, and I just said, I love you. Here's a home. I can offer you a place to stay. I can offer you food on the table. That's it. You're responsible for your education. You're responsible for your future. It's all on you now. And I threw it on her at 14. Now, most of my family members and my cousins are all like, what the hell are you doing? You're making a mistake. You got to go in there. You got to control the situation. You have to, force her to make this choice and make that choice. But when I checked in with my guides, they were like, honor the process that she's under. There's a lot to be gained from this for her. Don't interrupt the process. Trust. And so I did, and sure enough, she went on and she did incredible things with her life. So with you, Jessica, what I would say is you'll probably need to have a life outside of the relationship, because I think that y'all are just too involved in each other's business, and I think y'all just need to kind of give each other some space. Now, I will say that some of this stuff is going to be hard, because I think you are going to feel like if you pull back energy or you pull back attention or whatever, this is going to create a lot of trust issues, and this is going to create all kinds of drama here. And it's almost like, if I don't watch this, if I don't keep an eye on this, then this is going to go to hell. I wouldn't agree with that, because I think if you really love someone, you have to let them be who they're going to be regardless. Now, if y'all want to work on this marriage together, then y'all need to work on this marriage together, but it can't be one person doing it and the other one not. Some people may disagree with that, but I think that you really need to have that cooperation in order to get some things done. I do think that you'll have another 4 months of dealing with this kind of stuff before things start to kind of settle down at that point, okay? But I'm still seeing you together later this year, so I'm still seeing the relationship. Patrick Cullen, still give her the space and she'll reach out. So that's still, oh, you're asking me. I was like, yeah, he's giving me advice now. Still give her the space and she'll reach out. Yes, Patrick, I would say so. I would say give her a little bit more time, and then she'll reach out. Focus on other things. You don't need to be focused on her right now, okay? Kayla Lopez, does my spirit guides have any advice? Kayla, I believe that something that they're wanting you to be aware of is that someone might offer you an opportunity or offer to kind of help you with what you're working on. Even though this individual, this person may not be an ideal person, I think they have a lot to offer and a lot to bring to the table. So what I would say is any kind of interactions or dealings with people as far as work or career are concerned, especially in the next 3 or 4 months, I want you to just take it in stride and take it easy and don't put everything on that interaction. It's a temporary connection, a temporary association, but I think it'll help you move forward in some changes with your career or work situation that you're needing to make, okay? Amy Rodriguez, hi Fernie, I was wondering when I will meet my life partner. Can you tell me what they are like? I think you're about 2 years and 2 months away from meeting someone that would be a good fit for you. I also think that this individual has two-tone colored hair. Like, for example, like my partner, he has darker hair, and then he also has what is it? Not gray, like silver or white hair. So he's got a mixture of both. I feel like this person has a two-tone color hair to them. That doesn't mean that they're really old. Not that that matters. I mean, when I was 19, trying to like hold it in. When I was 19, I was dating a 48-year-old, and that was a great relationship. And we still remain friends. He's a great guy. But as far as your situation is concerned, I feel like this individual, they've got two-tone color hair. I also think that their name starts with a L. Yeah, I think their name starts with an L. Their initials might be LD or DL with their first and their last name, but I feel like those are the specifics. I also think that they may have associations, or they may have been affiliated with a federal agency or some sort of law enforcement agency. So they may have done work or be affiliated with that in some way. But I would give it 2 years and 2 months before you actually connect with this person, or before this starts to materialize for you. Hi, Rosie Emily Ruiz. Hi, Franny. I want to know if my great-grandmother came to visit my newborn baby 2 nights ago. I feel like it was a great-grandmother. I also feel that there was an animal with her as well. So there may have been more than one kind of energy in the space or in the room. What I would suggest is you put in like a night camera when you get a chance to, and have it just like record all night and just watch what happens throughout the night. I think y'all are gonna see some really interesting things, because your baby is sensitive as well, and so that may be something that you start to see more often as they get older. Okay. Hey, Mariana Gonzalez. Cynthia C. Vela. Hi, Fernie. My husband just lost his job. Will he get a job really soon? Will we have to move? I don't feel like you'll have to move. However, I do think you will move at some point. I just don't think you'll have to move right now. But I do think think that either late this year y'all will decide to move, or by early next year y'all may decide to move. But I do think he will find another job, but it's going to be a temporary job. I actually think he might find 2 jobs, but they may be temporary. They may not be something that's going to be able to sustain y'all in the way that you're used to. So you kind of may need to get around or work around and flex in a way. This is the theme. Everybody, a lot of people are going through the same situation and the same type of experience. So I completely understand and sympathize with you. But I would say he'll probably find something within the near future. I want to actually say within 3 weeks he might find something, but it's temporary. It's part-time. I don't think that his job is completely gone. I think at some point there might be an opportunity to go back to the job, or there may be an opportunity to go back into that field later this year. Okay. Which may be why there's a move, because if he has to relocate or there needs to be a relocation, that may be where that's coming from. Gloria Sedgwick, I am missing my son so much. Any messages? My son was a computer whiz. Ask him what he recommends for your computer. What recommends for my computer? What do you mean recommends for my computer? I am missing my son so much. Any message? My son was a computer whiz. Ask him what he recommends for your computer. Oh, you're talking about the modem. I'm like, what is she talking about my computer? No, my computer is fine. Well, actually, I have an older computer. I have a Mac, but my Mac is like since 2015, so I haven't really upgraded. I don't really want to, because every Mac that's come out since then, I've heard all kinds of stories about them, so I just don't really even want to put the money into that, and then it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. But not only that, but with the recording software that I use my computer is set up to record for my clients so they can get their videos. But the new Macs, the software that I use, it doesn't support it anymore because Apple put in some security stuff. So yeah, but as far as your son is concerned, it's going to sound funny, but I don't know if y'all have been making videos of dancing, or there's a video of y'all dancing together, because he's acknowledging this picture, this image. And it's almost like it's funny because I feel like he was more on the positive side or more lighthearted. However, I do think he's very sensitive as well. So I think there's a lot of sensitivity also. He also keeps acknowledging a gold chain or a gold metal thing, because I feel like I'm seeing something gold like this. So I feel like there's something there that connects to him. Either you gifted this to him, or there's something like that that's connected to him. He also shows me rainbows, so you might experience or have experiences with rainbows. Those are going to be signs from him as well. Also, when you were looking up at the star, when you looked up and saw a shooting star, that might have also been him as well, because he's showing me like when I'm outside looking at stars. So there might be an experience or situation that comes up if it hasn't already happened as well. I'm not saying go outside and wait 5 hours for a shooting star, but what I'm saying is there's going to be the experience there that may be connected to that also. He also is acknowledging, I don't know if this is like a stuffed animal or some sort of thing that like was found like on his face or was like moved, but he's acknowledging something like that as well that you might have encountered or might have experienced. He's also doing this, so there might be bracelets or some sort of band that goes around the wrist that might also be connected to him as well. Okay. Daniela Sanabria. Hi, my grandpa passed away nearly a year ago. On the 14th, I was wondering if he has any messages for me and my family. Yes, so there are 2 children with him in spirit. So I'm going to say that they're either the 2 children that were lost, miscarried, or terminated. But there's 2 children with him in spirit. There's also a smaller beige dog or a white dog, because he's acknowledging these. Actually, I might say that's one of each, because I'm seeing 2 dogs. So there's a reference there as well. He also keeps acknowledging the picture of the lasso, or the picture of him with a hat. So I don't know if there's a picture of him like with a cowboy hat or with this like big hat on, but he's acknowledging that. But I also feel like he has rope in his hand, or he was like doing something with rope in his hand as well. Because you know what it reminds me of is when I go fishing and I'm like putting all of the bait onto the hook. It almost reminds me of that. So there's a feeling of that may be connected to that also. He also keeps referencing a stick. It's like I don't know if it's a cane or it's some sort of like special stick that he might have had, but there's a reference to this like cane or stick or wooden thing that he's referencing. He also keeps showing me the name. I know that you're Daniela, but he's showing me the name Gloria. So there might be a connection to the name Gloria or Glorianne or Gloriana, but there's something about that name that is significant. He also keeps acknowledging even though I don't think he's talking about himself in this way, he is referencing cancer, but I want to say that the cancer is connected somehow to the Gloria person, or there's a cancer theme going on here that there's a reference for as well. He is doing fine. I also feel that there might be something that is made in wood or carved in wood, or someone carved something on a tree for him, or there was something he had that was carved in wood, but he's acknowledging that as well. Okay. Kels Jamie. Hi, Fernie. Any message from my father, James Kelson? So he is opening up a book, and I feel like the book is inspiring. So I don't know if you've been reading a lot of inspiring messages lately, or you've been having there's quail outside, so I was looking at the quail, but there's like something about like him opening this book and it being significant or meaning something significant. So I feel like there's something about this special book, or something about the way that this is being. I want to show y'all this. This is so cute. I know this is. Let me see if I can show y'all. Let's see. See if I can see it there. You see that? You see the quail out there? They're kind of walking around. You see it? They're so cute. They come around. They're so funny. They're like looking for nests and shit. And so they're always like going around like trying to find things and stuff. Oh, now I got this all locked up. Okay, cool. Back. Okay. I wanted to show y'all. It's like it's funny how they come around and stuff like that. You know what's so crazy? And I'll get back to you, sweetheart. I didn't forget about you, Kels. What's crazy is that you know what? This is from your dad, because he's the one that's using this. He is using birds as a symbol. So birds, feathers are all going to mean something significant. It's not just one kind of bird. He might use different types of birds because he's showing that to me. Feathers are also going to be significant. In the last week, I have had three birds come up, and it's not like they come every day or all the time. I mean, we have birds all the time outside, but it's not like they're like trying to like get my attention. But in the morning when I was sitting down and I was having my cup of coffee and I was kind of getting myself right in my head, a bird came up, sat at the windowsill and just stared at me. And that happened 3 times this week. Now, that doesn't happen often. I think the last time that happened was sometime last year, but it was just really funny. I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, are y'all trying to tell me something? Like, you know, like just get somebody who's already there to talk to me in my head. But it's just really funny how that happened. So Kels, just to get back to you, sweetheart, he is acknowledging birds. The birds are going to be significant. He also keeps acknowledging, I feel like I'm writing in my palm or I'm writing something here. I don't know why I'm writing in my hand. So I don't know if you used to write or you used to do something within this palm, or there's something about writing something like this, but there's a reference there. He also keeps acknowledging a picture with a crown on it. So I don't know if you took a picture and you had a crown on and he was there as well, or he took a picture with a crown on, but there's a funny thing about wearing a crown because he's acknowledging that either that or you're a princess, and he's referencing to you as the queen or the princess. So there's a reference there as well. He also keeps acknowledging, I feel like my ear feels funny, so I don't know if he was having issues with the side of his face, the side of his ear, or there was something weird going on, but he's acknowledging like, I'm fine. He also has come around you, and you may have actually had an experience around a closet or with the door that's right next to like the bed. So there might be a door there or might be something there. If it's not the door, it's the window, but it's that opening there that maybe right next to the bed, and you might have had an experience or heard some things and wondered what that was. But he's just acknowledging that he's around you and he is okay. Guys, if you ask me general questions, like what do I see in the future or any changes in the future, that's too general. You got to be specific or I'm not going to answer your question because I don't have time to sit there and try to figure it out, y'all. So just write down a specific question and I'll try to get back to you. Dacia Olivares. Hi, Fernie. Does everyone have spirit guides? Yes, every single person has a spirit guide. A spirit guide, it's like when you go to school, when you go to college and you're going to pick all your courses, you need to have someone kind of guide you through it because they can kind of give you feedback on like, you might not want to take this many classes because you're going to overdo it, or this class is going to conflict with this class, so you might need to make some changes here. So the spirit guide is just someone that before we come into life, we kind of coordinate with, and they help to kind of guide us in a way where we're essentially using their expertise and their guidance to make sense of our plan. And then once we're down here, they pop into your head from time to time and they put things in your head to get you to take action that's going to line you up with the experience or with the lesson that you're supposed to learn. So yes, everybody does have spirit guides. Katrina Jackson, hi Fernie, what is my strongest psychic trait and how can I strengthen this skill? I actually think your strongest psychic sense is going to be both intuition, which is a sense of inner knowing, and also clairvoyance, which is the ability to see things in your mind's eye, not like out here. I think people always want to think that when you have a psychic experience, it has to be like this big booming, sound, or you got to see something with your own eyes, whatever. It's all in your head. You have to kind of get comfortable with things happening in your head, or you're going to get stuck and you're not going to progress. If you want to strengthen it, go to my website, www.fernandamarron.com. It's linked to this video. Go down to classes, and then there's a free psychic development class that will help you to develop your skills to an extent where you can start to be more professional about it. Even if you don't want to do this for a living, it'll help you to develop your skill set, okay? And it's a free class. It's not like you have to do anything to do it. Okay, there it is. MS. Hey, Fernie Fern. Oh, hey, Fern. Hope you're well and keeping safe. Does Spirit help find lost items? I can't seem to find a USB. Where should I look for it? Or is it gone for good? So with Spirit, so here's the thing, because a lot of people think that when I'm getting information, I'm asking spirits for the answers. I'm not. When I'm connecting with, loved ones in spirit, they're telling me about stuff that has to do with y'all or life or the relationship or whatever. I don't ask them for like a relationship advice, so I don't ask them about what somebody else should do. Usually I don't, because there are rules in place where they're not really allowed to interfere with our processes and with our experiences unless it serves the purpose or it serves the individual. So they really do have more of a hands-free approach to the way that we live our lives. But as far as like me tuning in and picking up on where I can find this, you said USB thing, I feel like there's a couple of places I want you to look at. One is I want you to look inside a jacket or sweater pocket in the closet, because I feel like there might have been a sweater or a jacket that you had been, moving or whatever, and you just popped it in a pocket and you just hung it and you left it there and then you thought it was somewhere else. So I would check into some sort of like jacket or thing that you wear that has pockets. That's the first place. The second place I want you to look at is I want you to look at the pockets or extra pockets that are in any kind of bag or backpack, but it feels, I don't know if it's your bag or backpack or somebody else's and you just popped it in there, but I keep seeing it inside some sort of a pocket. So I don't think it's gone for good. I think it's in some sort of pocket area that you need to look into, okay? Frankie Galvez, hey Frankie. Hey Fernie, hope all is well. Could you tell me if my grandpa Juan will ever talk to his daughter again? It's pretty sad being apart from family. Unfortunately, I feel like this might not go well. I also think that he's mentally not the same person, or he's just changing a lot, or there's something going on in his head, and I think that's going to affect him as well. I do want him to watch out for his liver function, because I keep seeing, like when my uncle used to drink, he used to have issues with the liver. I do want him to watch out for that, but I feel like he probably is not going to deal with it until he is pretty much like at the end of his life. So I don't really think there's going to be like a reconnect there in the future. I think if it does happen, it'll happen within the year that he passes, unfortunately. I'm not saying that that's anytime soon, but I feel like it might happen in the year that he passes. But even then, I don't think it'll be a consistent, like trying to connect with those people. I feel like he's just going to keep himself at a distance. But again, something's going on with him upstairs, and that may be affecting his judgment. Elizabeth Martinez. Hi, Fernie. How are you? I was wondering if you see me getting pregnant soon. If so, when? Also, do you have any messages from my father-in-law for my husband? And are there any messages from my grandma to my mom or myself? Your grandmother is showing me a cross or a rosary. So there's a connection there as well. She's actually blessing also. She also keeps talking about her mouth not hurting. So there's a lack of pain or a lack of being able to eat that was maybe affecting her as well. She also keeps acknowledging something about a blood clotting or a blood, like, not a leak, but like a blood clotting or some sort of weird blood issue that the way that it was coagulating or starting to clot in places, there was something weird about that, because she's making me feel a sense of that. And you might need to ask somebody about that. As far as you getting pregnant soon, I feel like you might have an opportunity to get pregnant in September. So keep trying, but I think around September, October-ish is when you might actually score. Violet Rosario. Hello, Fernie. Am I intuitive? Yes. Every single person on the planet can play a key on a piano but not everybody can play Mozart. Not everybody can play like this masterpiece. So some people are more sensitive than others, but everybody is psychic. Everybody has intuition. We are conditioned as children to not pay attention or to not trust it because we're focused on facts or experiences. Unfortunately, the intuition is there to help us when we don't understand, when we're trying to survive. It's a survival mechanism for us. So yes, to be honest, I do think that you are intuitive, but I also think you're more of an empath, which means you're more emotionally sensitive to people and their energy. So that may come into play as well. Take my course. It's free. You will learn how to develop that and how to build that up as well. By the way, people have asked me if I speak Spanish or if I do sessions in Spanish. Sí, yo hago citas en español y sí sé cómo hablar en español. No lo hablo perfecto, pero sí entiendo cómo comunicar con una persona en español. Pero hay unas palabras que no voy a entender muy claritos porque yo lo aprendí de mi abuelita, pero no lo sé cómo hablarlo perfectamente. También, cuando estoy hablando con una persona, especially, it's like Celine in Spanish, especially cuando estoy haciendo como una cita como like mediumship, lo que pasa es que hay unas cosas que quiero decirle a la persona que estoy sintiendo, pero cuando yo estoy hablando con ellos, no tengo la palabra que puedo usar o se me olvidan las palabras. Pero yo trato de hablar más despacito porque cuando trato de hablar más rápido, se me vuelven las palabras y no puedo seguir muy clarito o me confundo. Okay? So just to let y'all know, yes, I do speak Spanish. I do conduct sessions in Spanish. It's harder just because there are words that I don't really understand or know very well, but I can carry on a conversation. But sometimes when I'm communicating with someone and I have a specific thing I need to address, especially like with mediumship, it's just harder because I don't know certain words that apply to that item or to that thing that I need to get across clearly. But that's why it's helpful to have like someone who speaks English on the call while I'm also doing it for the person that speaks Spanish, just in case I get stuck on something, I can have them clear it up for me. Okay. Lexi Chapa. Why do I keep having flashbacks one after the other, lasting only seconds, and I can't feel all the emotions from when I was there at that moment? Been having at least 10 or 15 a day for weeks now. I think, honestly, I want you to maybe, when you have the first opportunity, I kind of want you to check a doctor or go to a doctor, because even though, I mean, you could easily throw this into like the energy pile. I feel like there's something going on with your brain's receptors and something's happening there where the memory centers are being affected or being, there's something going on that they're being affected or that they're not making contact properly. So I feel like that's why there's certain types of things where you're only getting pieces or bits and pieces, but other things are not really showing up as clearly. So I really want you to check with the doctor as soon as you have an opportunity. I also think you've got a couple of deficiencies as well that you might need to look into. Iron might be one of them, or there might be some fluctuations with iron, which might be contributing to this, and also selenium. Selenium is a very useful, it's very useful because it helps. I do think selenium helps with memory, or it helps with some aspect of that as well. Okay. Okay, got it. So Michelle Collette, because she wrote something earlier and I read it, I had no idea what she was asking me. So I wasn't sure if she was asking me about her mom or not. But it says, LOL, I'll elaborate. My apologies. In the sense of my boyfriend, jobs, kids, and my mom passed away, and I never got to say bye, so anything from her. Yeah, so you like threw a whole bunch in there, which I don't even know where to even start with that. But let's just do it with your mom, because that's going to be the most important thing. As far as your mom is concerned, she is doing this, which means there's a baby connection. That would mean either she knows of the baby that has been born since her passing, or there's a baby that might come in soon or in the near future, because she's acknowledging almost like baby, but it feels like a new energy. So I feel like it's an acknowledgement of a baby, or there's a baby that's going to come in the near future. She also keeps referencing a rose, a little rose, and I feel like it's in metal. So I don't know if there's a metal rose piece of jewelry, or there's something that's got a rose on it that's metal, but I feel like there's something about metal roses, because she's showing that to me as well, or metal flowers. She also keeps acknowledging setting off the alarms, or setting off the fire alarms, or be careful about the fire alarms because they're weird. So she's making a reference for something like that. So if you have had experiences with fire alarms in the recent past, I think that's what she's talking about. Or you may just need to take a look at your fire alarm if it's not connected properly. She also keeps acknowledging, this is not going to make sense, but that's okay. I feel like I want to say Jean or Jeannie or Jenny or Janie. There's a name like that she's connecting. So there's a reference there as well that might be significant. There's also another female there as well, but she might be connected to your significant other's family. And I feel like that female is either a grandmother. Yeah, I feel like it's a grandmother energy or an aunt on the grandmother level. But there's a female there as well. She might have even had some cancer issues or had issues with her... with what is it when you get cancer in your blood? I forgot what it's called, but there's something to do with cancer in the blood. Okay. Melissa Whitfield, hi Fernie, hope all is well with you. Will I get pregnant soon? Any messages from any of my family or friends? As far as the pregnancy is concerned, I feel like you are about 2 years away from getting pregnant, so you might have to try for a bit, but I am seeing a lot of baby energy for you around next November 2021. Okay. Apache, hey Apache Godu. Who was I in my past life? I believe in one of your last lives, you were a student of either Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein. So you worked around one of those individuals, and you kind of learned a lot from them. And you may actually have gone on and to kind of work for like the earlier versions of like the electric companies and all that other stuff. So you kind of took something that someone else had, and then you kind of ran with it and did your own thing with it. Yeah, I mean, you can say that's a bad thing or not, I don't know. But I do think that there was a big connection there with one of those two individuals. And so you were very into like technology and very into like pushing us into the new age and all that other stuff. You used to dream a lot about space and, you know, like ships and all that other stuff, like a lot of dreaming stuff, but that was in that last life. Your name in that lifetime might have been Randy or Randall or Ron. Could be Robert. It could be Robert. Yeah, let's go with Robert. It might be Robert D. So if you look up anyone that may have known any of those two, you might find a Robert D name that might be connected to one of them, that you might be able to remember or get that piece of information, okay? Hides Rods. Hi, Fernie. Our friend Saeed was picked up by immigration last month by the Philippine government. His family doesn't know where the authorities took him. Could you let us know how to find them? He has health problems and need to take his medications. I don't feel great about this. I don't feel great about this at all. I want to say he's still alive. I'm going to put that out there. Because whenever someone's passed, I start to get details about what happened, but I get personality that comes through. With him, I'm just seeing like circumstances, but I'm not seeing the person. I'm not getting a personality coming through. So I'm going to say he's probably still alive, or he may still be he may still be alive, but I think he's still in some sort of I feel like they do these kinds of camps there. They have these like prison or camps there that he might be in. I do think that he is struggling though, so I think he definitely needs, y'all may have to approach it from a diplomatic channel, because trying to do it by going there or dealing with the government themselves is going to be a waste of time. So y'all might need to approach it from a diplomatic perspective. I don't feel great about this. I'm telling y'all, I just don't feel good about it. I mean, keep trying, y'all. Keep trying. But I feel like if you look at the country on a map, I feel like north of the capital city or north of the main, like, busiest city, there's an area. I don't want to say it's outside the city, but it's kind of north of the center of the city. There's a facility around there that he might be connected to, or that might be connected to him. So if y'all look there and see this facility, that may be a good starting point, or that may be a place to try and see if there's anything there that would give you indications that he's in that facility. Okay? I'm sorry, sweetheart. I know I wish I could do more than that, but Ashley Brown, do you see me getting into grad school? Yes, I feel like you will get into the grad school. I also feel that you won't have to worry so much about the expense. So that may change for you, which is cool. Brianna Mares, hello Fernie, how are you? Any baby energy around me anytime soon? 2 months. So that is soon. So give it about 2 months. I would say 3 at the most, but I would say give it 2 months. There might be a baby energy opportunity at that time. Ron Solar, thank you for using your gifts to freely help so many. I thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually going to do a third one of these. I know it's like pushing me to my limit. So I already do a live here on Facebook on Wednesdays. I also do now lives on Instagram on Fridays, and within the near future, I'm going to be doing lives on YouTube on Saturdays. So if you don't get to me on Wednesday, you can get me on Friday. If not Friday, you can get me on YouTube. But if you want to be able to do the YouTube one, go to my website and click on my YouTube. It is going to take you to my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button and the little alarm next to the subscribe button, because whenever I'm live, you're going to get a notification, and then you can just jump on and start asking questions. So that would be the best way to kind of follow me on YouTube. So that way you have 3 opportunities a week to be able to receive messages from me. Okay. Maria Esquives. Hi, Franny. Any messages from my dad? So he is acknowledging Paco or Papo or I don't think it's Popo, but I think it's Papo or Papi or Papa. There's like a reference there because he's acknowledging that, but I don't know if it's him or he's with a male there and he's wanting to give me, let me know that this person's there with him as well, because he's acknowledging that as well. Your father is funny. I don't know if he had a tattoo, but I'm seeing tattoos. So I'm referencing some sort of tattoo reference. So if someone's gotten a tattoo for him since his passing, that may be what he's talking about. But I almost feel like there's something to do with like a broken heart or a heart that's bleeding. So it might be like a symbolic gesture of like, missing or whatever. But there's a reference there. If not, he had the tattoo and he's acknowledging that, but there's a reference there as well. He also shows me his shoes. So I don't know if you have his shoes or you still have like his sandals or shoes or something like that, because he's referencing that as well. Sometimes when he comes around, you're going to smell him, because the sense of smell is going to be so strong for you. Okay. Mary Avila, any messages from my father-in-law? My husband had a dream about him a few days ago. They were in a field. So I think that I wish you could tell me more about the dream, because I would like to break it down and see what he's trying to tell him. But the way that I would say it is, I think that he is, usually a field represents an open area or space to do something in. So I think he's trying to communicate to your husband that he needs to respect the space or take advantage of the space or keep space around, because there's a reference there. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps referencing this. I don't know what this is going to mean, but I keep seeing silver, the name silver spelled out. The only thing I can think of, I know there's like a sporting company or shirt company or whatever, where it's like Quicksilver. I think that's what it's called, Quicksilver. But I don't know if this is Quicksilver or just the silver and it's going across something. But there's something about silver going across, because he's making a reference for that. He also keeps acknowledging, I don't know if your husband's been trying to get back into his faith or he's trying to get closer in his faith. But the father is acknowledging like continuing to have faith or continuing to try to be as centered and as connected to God or to life as possible. He's also acknowledging for his son that he is with God. So he wants to let him know that as well. He also, thank you. I don't know if your husband took some money out of an account he wasn't supposed to. His dad is writing him out. Took money out of an account that he wasn't supposed to and put it in another account to cover the expenses. But he's almost like giving him like, hey, I can see everything. And he's almost like messing with him or making fun of him. So there's a reference there as well. He's also showing me tires for a vehicle. So there might be some issues that come up with the tires that the father is trying to help him with or wanting to acknowledge for him as well. He was also in the vehicle with him. So he's spoken to him in his car or vehicle. He's acknowledging that he was with him in the vehicle as well. Okay, and he's actually funny because he's pulling down the visor, or he's messing with the visor for some reason. Rachel or Raquel C. Sarabian. Hi, Fernie. Do you know do you know how my job situation will go this year? So your job situation is going to be a little tricky. I do think that there is going to be at least 1.5 to 2 month period where it's going to feel inconsistent or something is just not working or not going so well. You might even take some time off or just decide to kind of hang back for a second, but that's temporary, because I do think that once you get into June, there's a kind of a kick into gear mode that happens there. Not only that, but somebody might take you and put you in another area, or you might give someone a hand with the area of work that they're focused on, and so you might just help with that process for them as well. But I don't feel bad about the job overall for the year. I just think it's going to be a tricky year for you in that way. Also, at the end of the year, you might have an opportunity to participate in some sort of a training program, which might actually open up some more opportunities for you with the organization, okay? Julie Ibada Sandoval. Hi, Fernie, will I marry the father of my kids? I want to say 70% yes. So I want to say 70%, but I'm not confident, because 70% is not a high number. There's going to be another person that comes in whose name starts with an M, but they go by like, it actually might be Matt or Matthew. So there's a Matt or Matthew name that might pop into the picture, and that may be an opportunity for another relationship. So you might have to decide, because at some point you might have both options on the table, and then you got to figure out which direction to go in. With the Matt person, I think that could work, but it might get complicated because of the children. With your ex, I think that could also work, but it might be complicated because I don't think he's changed that much, and I don't think that he is in a position where he is really ready to like go into this again in a different mode or different mindset. So you might have to give him some time, or just be patient and let him like evolve if you're going to stick that way. Stick with him. Isabel Schmidt. Hi, Fernie. Any messages from my little brother? So he is showing me, I keep seeing a clubhouse. You remember The Sandlot? The movie The Sandlot, and the clubhouse they used to have on the tree? He keeps showing me that. So there's a reference there, or he used to know a lot of jokes or a lot of like pieces of the movie, or there's something about making jokes in the movie The Sandlot. So you watch it, you might know what I'm talking about. He also keeps referencing the name Eric or E. So he's referencing this E connection as well. He also keeps, thank you, he's apologizing about his passing. Normally, whenever someone does that, it means that they either contributed to their own passing or they may have caused their own passing. But he's acknowledging the contribution or some sort of like responsibility there. So there's a reference there. He also keeps acknowledging the number 11. So either January 1st or the 11th of a month, or November is connected somehow as well. He also keeps referencing sunflowers. So sunflowers are going to be important. Remember that I said that, because you might have a symbolic gesture from him of sunflowers that might mean something as well. Okay. Julie Rivera. My dad passed away in 2015. I don't feel him around me after we moved into our new home. Is he around my family? Yeah, he's still around your family. Nothing's keeping him away. It's just that around that time, you know, when someone passes away, they're kind of on a lower, it's like, think of it this way, like whenever you go into a high-rise skyscraper or high-rise building, you go to the, you know, to the lobby area. Like whenever someone passes away, within the first few months or the first year, they're kind of hanging out in the lobby. They're still, you know, on the ground floor, but they're not necessarily ascending or going up. And so as time progresses, their energy ascends, or they start to kind of vibrate at a higher frequency. And because of this, this allows them to ascend. And as they ascend, you're just going to be less aware of them. That doesn't mean they're not still active in your life or participating and being around you. It just means that their energy has ascended. So even though you're attributing that to the new home, I actually think it had more to do with the timing of the new home when you were making that move, and then what was actually going on with your dad's energy. But he's still around you. He also, jefe. I keep wanting to say jefe. So there's something about jefe, or something about a joke being the jefe, because he's acknowledging that as well. He's also showing me chewing gum, or something that I want to chew in my mouth, and I feel like I want to chew something with him. Okay. Anoka Flores. Hi, Franny. Any messages for me or my daughter from her father, Reynaldo? Yes, there's also another baby there as well. So even though you have a daughter, there's an acknowledgement that there's another child there that's connected to the family, because I'm seeing that child as well. So they're referencing that. There's also 2 animals. I want to say they're probably dogs as well. So there's 2 dogs also with him as well. He keeps acknowledging, like he's making muscles for me, but he's doing this. Like he's wanting to like do this. So he's making weird muscles. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually, there's a picture where he made the muscle and his daughter is hanging on his muscle or hanging on his arm, because there's a reference there because he's acknowledging that. He also keeps showing me the picture of him with the sunglasses. So he must have thought he was real cool, or he was all that, because he's almost like chill and like, hey, you know, so he's almost coming across in that way. He also keeps referencing how, I don't know if y'all were just doing stuff today in the kitchen and something fell and spilled all over the table, or if this week something spilled and it just made a big old mess, but he's referencing this, so he might just be acknowledging that he's been seen or he's aware of what's going on there. He also keeps referencing his picture on the TV or his videos on the TV. So I don't know if your daughter has been watching videos on the TV of him, or there's pictures of videos that she's been posting up there, but there's a reference to that as well. He also says to thank you. So he wants to thank you for what you've done, but he also says that you showed him more kindness. You showed him more kindness than sometimes he deserves. So he makes me feel like sometimes he was a pain in the butt, but I do think that he cares about you and he loves you, but he also wants to thank you for that as well. Okay. Brenda Thomas, any messages from my ex-husband, Kelly? Yes, so I'm smelling smoke, so I don't know if he was a smoker or there is a smoke association with him in his passing, but I'm smelling smoke, so there's a reference there. There's 4 males there, so he's not the only person there, because I feel like there's 4 males also there as well. One of the males, for some reason, something's up with his face. I don't know if he had trauma or damage to the face, or there was like a burn, but there's a reference to someone having some mark or some weird thing on the face that may have been connected at some point to the family as well. Your ex-husband, Kelly, he is acknowledging his name, but he's repeating it. So there may be actually 2 people or 3 people with that name. He also keeps acknowledging... he can be a bit of an ass too, because I feel a little bit of a condescending energy coming through as well, because he's kind of a little bit coming across a little condescending. I don't think he would have been into any of what we're doing right now, because he's almost joking or making fun of us. So he's acknowledging like this being stupid, or he's just making fun of us doing this. He also keeps referencing the picture of y'all holding hands together, and how, even though I don't know if you still have that picture or you just have the hand part, but he's showing me a picture of y'all holding hands together. So there's a reference of that as well. He also, thank you. I want to say bumblebee or BB or bebe or BB or bumble. There's something there that he's making reference to as well, that comes across also. And also there's a stair or the front entrance thing. There's something creaking, or there's something that needs to be fixed. And he's almost like, be careful, you're falling your ass. So he's almost acknowledging something like that may be connected to the front store, those stairs up to the front entrance way. Okay. Ashley Rodriguez. Hi, Fernie. Any messages from my guides? Thank you. They want you to have more fun and do more artistic stuff. So any opportunity to be creative or to just be more artistic and to just, let yourself flow with that and have fun with it. They're really wanting you to promote you and to push you to doing that as well. Right now you have people making masks for the virus, and they're kind of like being really creative about it. Like, I feel like, I don't know if they're wanting you to make masks or they're acknowledging something about doing something that will help other people in this way. But there's a sense of creating or doing something in this way. Erica Saavedra, love. Hey, Fernie, I was wondering if there is anything from my father-in-law. My son has been the only one that has seen him in his dreams. We miss him. Yes, well, the reason why your son is the only one seeing him is because your son is psychic. So he's actually having, or budding as a psychic. So he's developing his abilities there. And I honestly think he might actually end up going in this direction at some point down the road, or going into a role where he's a counselor to people. So there's a vibe there as well. As far as the father-in-law is concerned, he keeps acknowledging a truck or a high vehicle. So I don't know if y'all have his truck or if y'all just bought one, but he's acknowledging this vehicle. So he's referencing that. He also keeps showing me the number 9 and the number 11. So either September 11th is significant, or the month of September and the month of November might be somehow connected, or the 9th of a month and the 11th of a month. But he showed them together. So I'm thinking he's going towards September 11th, or there's something around that time. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. He said happy birthday. So I would assume that we are within a 30 30-day period of a birthday because he's acknowledging some sort of birthday association or birthday reference now. If not, he passed around a birthday because he's acknowledging that. He also keeps referencing a LUC name. There's an LUC name. I don't know if it's a male or female, but he's referencing LUC like Lucas or Lucy. So there's a reference there that he's making or acknowledging as well. He also showed me a drink, so I don't know if he loved his drinks or he liked to have a good time and y'all put a drink where he was buried or whether he is at, but he's referencing a drink as well. So he's acknowledging it also. He also keeps referencing Pepe or Pepe. So there's a Pepe reference that he's also acknowledging as well. Y'all got a lot of people. I want to say that your husband or your significant other may also have friends there as well, because there's a person there who passed from weird circumstances, but they're wanting to acknowledge that they're there as well. I also feel there was an impact to the face or to the back of the head with that individual. And I think they were younger when they passed. I don't know how long it was ago, but I feel like they may have passed when they were younger. Okay. Carlos Garcia, is my house haunted? I do think that there are ghosts in your house. Interestingly enough, this is one of the few times that I think that your house, you might have some spirits visiting or coming around there. They're not all like the same. They're not all like, don't put them all, batch them all together because they may not all be connected to each other. But I do think that you have at least 3 separate individuals who are going in and out of your property. One of them being a younger child or a young person as well, okay? Oh, look, Dennis Robinson is watching. Dennis is the ex that I was telling you about, that he was such a great guy and he was such a sweetheart. So for those of you who were like, well, who is the person? Stephanie Hardwick. Hello, Fernie. Hope all is well with you. Just wondering if I will do well with the business I just opened to support developmentally disabled individuals. I do think that it will go well. I also think you'll actually get some additional funding or nonprofit funding, maybe even government funding. And at some point you might actually even start to work with schools, but I want to throw 6 months into your plan. So whatever your timeline is, you probably need to be aware it might actually take 6 months longer than that to start to see the benefit of what you're doing. But I do think that it will be successful, and I think you'll get somewhere with it. It'll also turn into a group of mothers or family members who want to participate in supporting the organization as well. And then you may also find yourselves making things as people to sell online to raise money for this organization. I'm going to make, apparel, or I'm going to make this, or I'm going to make that. Also, someone that may try to help you with the refinement of the logo. I think you need to refine it a little bit more because your first logo or the original attempt might need to be revisited in some way. Sophia Juarez, hi Fernie, I hope